So we'll move on next to the first big show returning this season is ReZero, the second part two of the second season. So it literally just kicked off right away, like right after the ending of part one, right with like Otto and Subaru. So I don't know. It seems like it felt like this episode was mainly like more lore dump, and then just like and then nothing much happening. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Subaru winning.
I wouldn't call it just a lore dump. I think there was a lot of like progress going with this episode. Didn't you guys feel that same way as well?
No.
I think it was cool. I think, we see kind of Subaru getting that reality check from Otto that he much needed from kind of what he was trying to do before with his death and rebirth attempts. And definitely, as kind of to David's point, we saw different lore drops, both with the kind of dynamic between Subaru and Roswaal, and kind of with what Subaru's learned of his kind of background and history and his kind of play into the current effects. But no, I think we definitely saw a lot of good stuff, and we learned a lot about a lot of different characters in this first episode, which I think was great.
I'd say like the information about Amelia was like the most important. So
Definitely.
that's why, especially since I don't know how much they mention her background in like the story. I guess what I've seen before, because a lot of what I know comes from the OVA, the Frozen thing, like where it was right after she got out, or she was. What is it? I don't know if she was actually frozen or no, she was frozen, but like after she got out, she was taking care of her village that was frozen. But like I think a lot of history, I'm pretty sure I probably read it on Reddit. It was probably spoilers because I don't remember much of it happening in the actual show. So
from my memory, I don't remember them mentioning that much in the actual show itself. They might have maybe briefly mentioned it, but it wasn't really, it was just kind of glossed over. So I don't know if you guys remember seeing it or hearing it.
I don't much from the original.
Well,
Yeah, I don't remember much either.
That was stuck or something, but nothing specific at all.
Yeah.
Have you guys all watched the movie?
The OVA? I watched the OVA.
You did? Cool? No?
No.
Okay. Just
I have not.
okay.
I mean,
that kind of shows a little bit more of Amelia's backstory.
Yeah, but the time they're talking about before she got frozen, they didn't really mention that much.
No, they didn't at all.
So, and I didn't know that that Puck he was the one that was stealing her memories, and he was basically the one that was stopping her from doing the trials. So,
yeah, that's definitely interesting. And I mean, they kind of alluded to, Subaru having that discussion with Puck when Subaru is kind of holding Amelia's hand to get her to sleep and everything. So I'm kind of interested as well if they'll at some point, talk about what Subaru and Puck talked about for Puck to break that relationship and bring back Amelia's memories.
I'm sure they will. But R.I.P. Puck.
Yeah.
Bad. I didn't really enjoy the episode too much just because I don't know. I don't think I pay close enough attention to this show to like be able to keep up with all the lore or something. I didn't really understand most of what was happening for most of the episode. I don't care about any of these characters. I hate where they've been. I just don't care about any of it. But then it got to Puck.
Like
yeah, exactly. I want to care so bad, but I just don't care at all. And then it got to the scene with Puck, and I think I actually did cry a little bit, like a tear or two. That made me very sad. And then Stratton was like talking through the thing, and I was like, "Shut up! This is a good part."
way to go.
Yikes.
My bad.
Yeah, I definitely
like
got
Otto, but that's it.
Otto's definitely, stepping to the plate and showing like, hey, I'm here to help you out, and you need to rely on others a lot more. It's not just all on your shoulders at the end of the day, which I think is really great that they kind of continue to harp at that and see Subaru's growth from a human side. The thing for me, kind of to your point, Taylor, that like I just kind of find myself glossing over is like all the stuff in this episode when they were talking to is it Ryuzu, one of like the clones of like that crystal
I
girl?
know who you're talking about.
her name.
I don't know her
We'll call her
name.
Ryuzu.
Yeah,
Ryuzu's
yeah,
on the way.
and they all, it's like there's like many copies, but 4 of them are like
Four,
the main like protectors or whatever. That whole part, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, how is this? I know like we got a little bit more background into Garfield and why he's like afraid to leave the sanctuary, but
Wait,
that's
why?
still stuff for me.
Why is he afraid?
Well, we don't know if he's afraid, but there is a specific reason as to why he doesn't want to leave the sanctuary, but it hasn't been told yet.
Okay. Well, didn't they touch a bit upon like
Because-
his mother and father, and just they didn't know if it's out of anger versus like sadness or something for like why he acts the way he does?
but then only the outcast Ryuzu knows, and as of right now, we
Mhm.
don't know what that exactly is.
Okay.
Right. So I think that's probably why he's so close to that specific one, and I don't think he really cares much for the other ones as much.
hmm
Sorry, I just want to go back a little bit to Justin's point when he talks about how like where Otto was basically kind of saying like you have to rely on others. I feel like,
Mhm.
and he also like, and Justin, I think you also mentioned too about how like they harp at the point at the same time. Like, it's getting annoying because it just feels like that's like a constant thing with Subaru. Is like he
Mhm.
keeps forgetting this basic thing, and he's also just it's just like whining about a lot, like those things as well, where it just seems like,
Mhm.
dude, we've been dealing with this since like the first 6 episodes, and it's still like a constant thing. Taylor kind of talked me a little bit into it, where basically it's like, well, this guy just constantly dies. Like, how would you feel? I was like, I don't know,
See,
I'm not there.
at that point, I kind of feel like the story is kind of unfair to Subaru because like
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
that is true. Yeah,
like he's trying his best. Like it's not like
Yes.
it's not like he's I don't know, he's not being selfish anymore. He's trying his best,
Mhm.
but it just keeps like the show just keeps shitting on him. So
Yeah.
I feel
Oh my
kind of
God.
bad.
I know you guys said that I was defending Reiner super hard that one episode, but that was not me defending somebody. If you want to see me defend somebody, it'll be Subaru.
Like-
Like, I swear. This poor child.
Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, I think we have to kind of remember that Subaru is kind of the embodiment of just human nature in general. He is just like a kid, right? A teenager, and then he's going through all of this on his own, and he just recently broke out of his shell, trying to just put everything on his shoulders, and that's what Satelia wanted him to stop doing, right? To love himself more, ask for help, just be more human in a sense. And then Otto's just kind of like reiterating that fact, which he just broke out of his shell. So maybe that's why it's getting a little bit too much to you, like kind of annoying how they're constantly
Yeah,
repeating.
but it's like he's
Back.
also in a unique situation too, where he can't tell anyone how he feels besides Echidna. So, like,
Well, I mean, that doesn't really stop you from asking others for help, right? Especially if you're constantly repeating the same cycle over and over. At that point, you would try something different, i.e., ask
Good
for
help.
help,
he's
right?
I mean he's been trying, so like I don't blame him for like all of the loops he's gone through so far because I feel like he's been trying everything so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of makes me think of like what did Subaru tell Otto when Otto at the beginning was just like, tell me everything. And they kind of just I think in the episode like they sit down with each other,
Yeah.
but then they never allude to it. So it's like
Yeah.
what exactly, if he can't tell Otto about his return from death ability, like, how do you
That's
I
one
mean-
thing I think the show actually does well, though. I think they do come back to those and they cover it well as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm
I'd say
assuming
well
will happen,
done.
but again, it's just, those questions in the back of your head of like, all right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then to be fair, like that loophole is actually pretty easy to get over. Like you don't really have to worry about as much. Like, yeah, I can't tell you that I'm constantly being revived. I can just tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen. I need you to do this, this, and this. Just trust
Very
me,
true.
right?
Very
and
true.
if
Well-
Otto is trying to be as helpful as he's trying to like push on the Subaru, then I'm sure he'll just listen to him and try to help out.
Sure, but I mean at the same time, it's like Otto's he's just this random merchant that Subaru met
Oh,
like
yeah, random.
like how many I don't know how long ago. So it's like I don't know how much you can really trust someone of like this secret that you can't tell anyone else. So
Right?
I think he's
he's
trustworthy.
he's
He actually seems
trustworthy
like a
now,
bro.
but it's like coming from Subaru's
Yeah.
perspective, like you just met the guy, like this random
I mean,
merchant
yeah.
that you've seen, and especially like you see him in loops since like the White Whale arc. So like you don't. I guess he's lost track of how many times he's like met him or what even is their relationship depending on what loop they're in.
No,
It's okay,
you're forgetting about
if things go bad, he can just himself, and then just
you're,
take out.
you're forgetting about the one loop where he actually got Otto to confess that he thought of him as his best friend. So I think from that point on, that's when he trusted Otto more.
I don't remember
I
that. at all.
guess it is hard keeping
I
track
do
of these
remember that
loops,
now that-
so
Now that you mentioned it, that was a sweet part. I'm glad you
Right.
mentioned that,
That's
so I
the-
remember.
That's basically the point of the bromance that occurred between Otto and Subaru, because I think it was Otto was able to rescue Subaru from being locked up in the in that chamber or whatever in the ruins,
Mhm.
and then after that he sacrificed himself so that Subaru can live. And then I think, like I said, it was either that loop or a different loop, but then he announced that, hey, I've always thought of you as my best friend. You can trust me. And then from that point on, that's when he started to look at Otto at a different light. So, yeah, it is completely different than what you guys are thinking of, I think.
Mhm.
And then the thing that kind of surprised me at the end was the fact that it seems like Otto has some kind of powers as well. Like he's able to kind of disappear and reappear. I don't know if that's just part of the mist or if that's just the animation.
Oh,
But at the very end there, like Otto was able to put his hand on the back of Garfield, and then when Garfield looked behind him, like
Oh, that's
Otto
true.
wasn't there, and he was actually on the like other end of the room. So
Yeah,
I
that was weird. I noticed that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it
It's
feels
definitely
like
more to Otto than meets the eye.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
he's not just some like some low
Transformers.
merchant who has no powers. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
okay. That part I wasn't paying attention to. So yeah.
Same.
You got to, man. You gotta solve the mystery. You gotta look up.
I know,
Look at all
I-
these things.
You
and
gotta
nitpick.
analyze, enhance, zoom. You know,
Yeah.
A few things
I
we have
know.
to start up, and then I'll get back into the show again. I'm
I'm
sure.
just like
right.
I'm just really into the lore. Like I'm super like entranced in the lore, so I want to like I'm just thinking about a
Yeah.
lot of things in like the background, not exact necessarily what's happening right now. So
Well, you can be the one to carry us then, David.
no, that's Ku right now.
We need to sidebar.
You and Ku.
Ku is carrying hard right now.
I don't
Just
give a
what-
fuck about the lore. What I want
Oh,
is them to
the
stay
lore is
friends.
like-
All right, that's what I want.
I care more.
How do we get there?
I care more about the lore than the characters.
so
So,
far from Rem, it's like we need to get back there.
Yeah, we need to get back to
Been
that.
too
no.
long.
So yes, yeah. I'm like I care more about the lores than the characters at this point.
So-
So
Justin, what is your thoughts on ReZero? Is it hype for you or just meh?
Oh, it's definitely hype.
Okay,
Like,
all right. So you
it's-
three can carry.
Yeah, I'm definitely very interested in Amelia's background even more now that we kind of got that, little nugget of how she was frozen in the forest with her, like temporary family or whatever that she was with, and then we saw the one like small image of like her mother or what is believed to be
Yeah.
her
right.
mother there, but
Off
I don't know.
the-
I'm just interested more of like, I assume, or I think that like Amelia was the one that caused everybody being frozen, but for whatever reason does not remember it.
Yeah.
Because it almost seemed like his mom or Amelia's mom figure was trying to say like, oh, I'm sorry or whatever. Like, it's not your fault. So it just kind of seemed like a cover up tactic to like, pull away blame from Amelia
yeah, I can see
as a
that.
child.
I'm sorry, Justin. Did you say that you saw the movie or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you should watch it's a lot of kind of like Amelia backstory.
Okay, definitely do that.
And then just one final thing about ReZero, it's like the way that this episode started, like you can definitely tell that they meant for a full 2 seasons, and
That's what Taylor said.
like
Yep.
I wish at this point I wish they were. I know it was already delayed because it's supposed to air in spring because of COVID, but now I wish it was just like delayed the first part to fall and just continue straight. Like I guess they had like advertising or some other like contracts, like broadcasting contracts or whatever, but just from like an airing perspective, it was not a good thing to like split like this. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah,
agree.
no, for sure.
Especially with a confusing show like this.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the last thing for ReZero. So
It's all good.
good start. So hopefully excited to see what's more to happen. Where we're next